G'day folks, welcome back to the story of Moz, episode 9 part 5. I'm Moz from Moz42 and join me as I tell you about the processing plant and beyond. So let's get to it.
Let me tell you a story about a man named Moz. Again came the time that he had to move on. The company said it's not meant to be. The company's in trouble, so we'll give you redundancy. Payout, that is. Seek new endeavours in copper, lead and zinc.
Yeah, look, I thought I'd throw in these few photos of some of the views on site. The first ones that you can see behind me is the freshwater dam, which form part of rainwater diversion around the site, so that we can minimise how much water actually ended up on the site itself and had to be contained on site. So rainwater was diverted around the site, so to speak. Also, we had, there is a mango orchard, or two actually, on the site itself, producing some fantastic mangoes. And I actually made sure that those things got watered through the year so they would produce some good mangoes. So while I was working there, I never had to buy mangoes through the season. It was great. I've also included some photos behind me of the processing plant from before construction. You can see the earthworks being done through some stages of construction and the likes. And as I mentioned in, I think it was part 4, ore was transported to site from the satellite mines via road trains, which are about 52 odd metres long. As you can see here in the photos, they actually delivered to the stockpile, ready for processing. And conversely, when we processed it, road trains were sent off-site with concentrate. You can see some photos here of the concentrate being loaded and the trucks that or road trains that we used. What I'd really like to go through is my progress through the site. I started off there as the concentrator manager, or some known it as the processing manager for the plant. I was there for that position for about 5 years. And then I was offered a position as the what's termed the SSE, or the senior site executive, and that was a term used by the Queensland Government Mines Inspectorate. In other words, the general manager of the site. And I was there as the general manager for about 4 years. During that time, the company had also purchased an older processing plant and mining leases way down south of the centralised processing plant. So they had another region where they could process ore and produce concentrate for sale. There was a change in the company corporate management structure, and the company had split up its mining areas into 3 regions. There was the northern region with its mines and leases, the central region, which had the centralised processing plant and some of the satellite mines, and then there was the southern region, which comprised of this older operation that the company had bought back then to produce more concentrate and expand the company. So there was 3 regions. So as part of that changeover and the splitting into the regions, I was offered the position of regional general manager of the southern region, looking after that area, which meant I had to travel there on a regular basis. So I'd live in the town near that operation on a 5 days on, 2 day off, 4 day on, 3 day off roster. But being general manager, a lot of the times I stayed there on weekends as well, depending on what was happening at the time. Yeah, that was a good operation. The town itself during the wet season would get flooded in, or the main road into the town would be flooded in. There's some photos here behind me. You can see in amongst all that water is the main highway, and as I'm pointing out there's you can see the rough water in the background. Well, 2 metres below that rough water is a bridge. Basically, it's the bridge. The flooding of that river system was rather quick. Like it'd take a day to come up over the road and bridge, probably hang around for about a day or so, and receded within a day. So whenever there was heavy rains, it only lasts for a short period of time, and that depends on how much rain happened up north. So, but you can see it looks fairly ominous, but yeah, as I said, didn't hang around too long, so we could get in and out. I did receive some comments in the previous part about showing some rehabilitation works. Well, here's a few photos. This first photo is the waste dump rehabilitation at one of the satellite mines. You can see each bench or step is sealed and vegetated. So basically any rain, water runoff from that could actually go off site because it'd be clean and not contaminated. And you can see it looks rather good. And that was in it. You know, we're talking, that photo was taken probably, let's see, 6 or 7 years ago, so it'd be well and truly established by now, and doing its job. The next photos I've got here is at the centralised processing plant. We did have well, it still is, a trial plot off the side of the waste rock dump. I think you can see it, I'm pointing it out, but I'll have another photo coming up which shows a better view of it. But the reason I'm keeping this one up, you can see in the foreground the nursery. We established quite a good nursery there, growing seedlings of flora native to the area, so that we were planting what was hardy and used to the conditions of the local area. So, and that's the sort of things that were going on in the background to basically prepare the place for final closure and rehabilitation. And it's important to seal the waste rock dumps, particularly, and then in the end, I've never been to an operation that's done it yet. I've always left while I was still operating, but in the end, the tailings dam would be capped and revegetated as well. So there you go. So there's a few things that we did on. As I mentioned at the beginning in the title, this was the processing plant and beyond. Well, the beyond part is basically the company got into a bit of shaky ground. Investment was down, funds were starting to dry up. Reasons why, that's a corporate thing, not going to go there. It did try to promote the new company change by holding a soiree held on top of a hill one evening at the one of the mine sites. You can see some photos coming up behind me here. I'll have a bit of video at the end, which is you'll probably find of interest. And at the soiree there was potential investors, the media, all managers, their wives and or partners and etc. All persons of interest came along. Unfortunately, it didn't work too well. Basically, the next day the share price dropped, so that was pretty much the nail in the coffin for the company. So yes, it ended up in administration. Unfortunately, this happens in the mining game, as I've mentioned before. It happens. A number of people, significant number of people, were made redundant and paid out, and hey, I was one of them. So yeah, you just take it in your stride and look for another job and just get on with it. It's just the way things are, so that's what happened. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this next little bit of a video here. For now, look, if you enjoyed that, please share, like, subscribe if you're new, and by all means leave a comment below. That'd be of great interest. And if you're new and subscribing, don't forget to hit that little bell notification button, which will notify you when I put up new content. So for now, I'll leave you with this video here in the end. It's basically some of the entertainment that happened on that night. And cheers. Have a good one.
Just vinyl, man.